It's now time for the Southern League Cavaliers Coaches Show with head coach Michael McClure. We now take you to Mike Fowler, your host for tonight's program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Southern League Cavalier Football on the Mike McClure Coaches Show. I'm Mike Fowler. I'll be your host as we talk Cavalier football and visit with Cavalier coach Mike McClure. I want to thank our sponsors for helping you bring our show each Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on 105.5 FM WFJA. Wilkinson Chevrolet, Dominos, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Fix-It Plumbing, Farm Bureau of Tramway, Jones Printing Company, and Brick Capital Video. Tonight's show will be rebroadcast at 6 o'clock this Friday night prior to our 7 o'clock game on 95.1 FM and 1050 AM WWGP. Video of the Coaches Show will be posted on the WFGA Facebook page each Wednesday by noon. I look forward to talking with Cavalier coach Mike McClure tonight and bringing you exciting Southern League Cavalier football. We're going to take a short break and hear from our great sponsors. We'll be right back with Coach McClure right after these messages.
Coaches Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet, Dominos, Farm Bureau Tramway, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Fix-It Plumbing, Jones Printing Company, Brick Capital Video.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show. Coach, welcome back in the booth, and I appreciate you coming in again this week.
No problem, as always. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So last Friday night, we were down at South Johnston, or it was actually Thursday night, and the Cavs just had a little bit of a rough start and went down to the Trojans down there 47-13. And again, it was just a little bit of a sluggish start. What we didn't see against Green Hope, just got off to a rough one this time.
Yeah. The one thing we're trying to do is just work on starting fast. That's been our biggest issue even last year, and it's carried over into this season. And this starting and getting off to a hot start offensively and defensively. We've learned and we know that we're not a team that can play from behind. Mm-hmm. So for us, we have to get off the bus ready. We have to get off the bus moving fast, and we started to kind of emulate some things in practice just to get us moving full speed and moving fast so that we can get off to those fast starts. We came out very flat, not with a lot of energy Thursday night. I'm not sure if it was because of Thursday night game or you know what, but we just got to make sure that regardless of who's in the stands and whatever the crowd's like, we got to be able to bring our own energy, and we got to be able to play fast. And that's why they got off to the start that they did. Mm-hmm. We just got to clean up that stuff and steal the small mistakes, cleaning up the small mistakes that, we repeatedly make over and over again. Yeah. Once we get out of our own way, most of the mistakes is us in our way. Yeah. Once we get out of our way, we'll be fine. But we just got to do that first and pay attention to the small details.
Yeah, I think, and that's unfortunately that's how the game got off to a start. I think there was a couple of equipment issues right away as we had the ball to start the game, and then of course the blocked punt that was picked up by the defensive tackle and ran back for a touchdown. So yeah, just like you said, that the fast start went to them on the defensive side of the ball, and it was just something I think the Cavs just couldn't recover from to start with.
Yeah, and I think that we harp on special teams so much. Special teams because I think it was at that moment that was the critical turning point. Even though it was early in the game, that was a critical turning point in the game where it just kind of, where we were already off to a slow start, it just kind of took the rest out of us, and then now we're trying to play from behind. And it actually wasn't even blocked. It actually hit off our own guy, hit off of his back.
On the front man?
Yeah. And then, like I said, getting in our own way. And that hurt. That hurt. Big momentum swing like that in front of their home crowd, definitely went in their favor.
Yeah, and then they were able to get their first series. They were able to come down and just score pretty quickly into the game, and all of a sudden you're down, 14-0. And then it's an uphill battle, like you said, which you're trying to avoid each week.
Yeah.
But some bright spots. You always look for bright spots. In the second half of play, especially towards the fourth quarter when we came down, the third quarter actually, we had that nice drive where it was like we were calling the booth. Austin and I were calling it the Josh and Anthony show because they were just alternating good runs down the field. We were able to put some points on the board.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you go back to the first quarter, we actually scored in the first quarter. Anthony actually scores in the first quarter, which was a touchdown call back. And then, he had the catch on the one or two who arguably could have been called a touchdown or not. That those plays like that we don't get, which is momentum swingers for us.
Right.
We're in a different position then going into that game if those touchdowns stand. So, it's just little things like that, little factors like that. But, yeah, they had some, they worked together well. And I think we start getting in rhythm towards the right before halftime. We were able to move. We were able to tempo a little bit and throw the ball around a little bit on them. And they really just didn't have an answer. I think also if we score going into halftime, we change, we get a little bit momentum in our favor as well, and it changes the outcome, maybe possibility of the way that the second half goes.
And actually, you mentioned Anthony. We'll talk more about him later, but there was a couple, one deep pass where he dove all out and just went off his fingertips, and that could have led to another big play for the Cavaliers. But as we got into the second half of play, that good drive where they alternate him and Josh alternated carries and put it in the end zone was just another great way to get on the K. And then late in the fourth quarter, Christian Matthews just really was running very, very hard as he continued to do well and then eventually put the ball in the end zone towards the end of the game.
Yeah, Christian definitely a guy that we're gonna start working into our rotation. Like you say, he's not the biggest, but he definitely runs hard, and that's all we ask him to do, within our offense.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's take a quick look now. This is we do our Meet the Cavs thing. We're just going to talk quickly about the senior class this year. There will be senior night this Friday night at Cavalier Stadium, so please come and support these Cavalier seniors. And that's Josh Stone, Julian Rivera Francesi. Is that how you say his name? Good. I hope I was saying that right throughout the season. The twins, Joshua and Jerry Freeman, Nasir Blue, Joseph Cooner, Trenton Johnson, Christian Matthews, Shantique Hamilton, Elmer Velasquez, John Wilson, Roland Bank Morales, Damian Judd, and Jabari Person. Those are your senior Cavaliers this year. And out of that list, I highlighted a couple of them, John Wilson and Damian, who I believe have now been 3-year starters here from this program. So what do they kind of mean for you as the seniors?
Yeah, they're definitely a veteran. It's good to have two veterans on both offensive side and defensive side. And now, obviously, John playing offensive side. He's kind of on both sides now, which is something we should have done sooner. But, just those guys, stepped up, continue to take leadership of the team. And, those are valuable guys playing valuable positions that, we hate to lose as we head into, next year.
Yeah.
Damian obviously playing that left tackle position and John playing that middle linebacker / guard position. Those are critical parts, especially on the offensive line and then on the defensive side of the ball.
Right, exactly right. So quick look at the Sandhills 3A, 4A conference. Last week, it was Lee County 38, South Granville nothing. Of course, South Johnson 47, Southern Lee 13. Pinecrest 16, Middle Creek 7. Hope County goes down for the first time, losing at Southview 20-0. Scotland County 40, Cary 6. A good one, Cardinal Gibbons 30, Richmond County 22. And Western Harnett takes down Union Pines 20-16. This week in the conference, it's going to be Lee County at Fuquay Varina. Your Cavaliers will be home to Fairmont. Jack Britt at Scotland County. Grimsley at Pinecrest. Hope County at 71st. St. Paul's at Union Pines, and Southview at Richmond. Those are your games in the Sandhills 3A, 4A conference. We're going to go take another time out to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back after these messages.
Coaches Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet, Dominos, Farm Bureau Tramway, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Fix-It Plumbing, Jones Printing Company, Brick Capital Video.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show. It's now that time of the broadcast where we get into the players of the game for this past week against South Johnston. And we're going to go ahead and start with the offensive side of the ball. And this week's WWGP Norman Financial Group Offensive Player of the Game is Anthony Robinson. Anthony had a really good game this past week. We were talking earlier as well. Had 5 catches for 108 yards. Actually, he was the main target for Josh during that game. Also added 20 yards rushing on the night. And again, Anthony was our player of the game, overall player of the game, I believe, last week. And just a great threat on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's definitely, stepped into a role of being a playmaker guy, being a go-to guy. He came down with some great catches, definitely when we needed some catches in traffic on Thursday night, and catches that really put us in a great field position to score, and should have had at least 2 touchdowns, but one didn't stand and the other one was questionable. But overall, proud of what he's doing offensively and defensively for us, and just hope he continues to be productive and be a threat for us.
Yeah, so congratulations to junior Anthony Robinson as our Norman Financial Group Offensive Player of the Game. On the defensive side of the ball, we had a couple guys we were looking at and could have picked, but we went with Patrick Spearman this week, or especially early in the game. He was all over the field, chasing down the quarterback from South Johnston and putting a lot of pressure. He's within the top 5 guys, I believe, tackles on the team so far through week 3. And what are some of the things you can see about Patrick?
Patrick is a guy who, we wish he would have played last year. He would have been a little bit more into, a little bit more comfortable with playing. But we're getting him in the rhythm and in the routine of, playing defensive end and being on that defensive line. And when he goes, he's a force to be reckoned with. When he has a high motor, like you said, he has the ability to run down plays and chase down plays. And he read a screen perfectly. One play hit him right in the hands. He just couldn't hold on to it and get him an interception. But just happy for the things that he's doing and the contributions he's been making, for us on the field.
That's great. Actually, what's great about these two is Anthony and Patrick are both juniors, so they'll be back again next year. We want to congratulate both of them for being the WWGP Norman Financial Group Players of the Game for South Johnston. And now the award this week, our Wilkinson Chevrolet and Coach McClure and staff Player of the Game this week, of course, will get his name engraved on this trophy, and this trophy will end up back at Southern Lee at the end of the season. And Coach, I'll let you name who our Wilkinson Chevrolet and Coach McClure and staff Player of the Game is this week.
Player of the Game this week is going to be quarterback Josh Stone. Like you say, Josh, he just had a great night, had a good night running the ball, picked up some tough yards running. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but it took about three, 4 guys to bring him down on some plays, and that was just determination and will for him. And not somebody who's came up playing quarterback, and he was able to deliver some nice throws on Thursday night that just drop them right in there for guys like Anthony and our other receivers to go get. So we felt he was deserving of it. He got off to a slow start on Thursday, but eventually picked it up towards the end and end up having a good game for us.
Yeah, so congratulations to Josh Stone. And that's one of the things we've really noticed in these first 3 games is his improvement. And his confidence seems to be getting there, too. So that's a good thing. So we're really anxious to see how well that continues throughout the season. So congratulations to Josh Stone being our Wilkinson Chevrolet and Coach McClure and staff Player of the Game for this week. So this week, we welcome in the Golden Tornadoes of Fairmont. And their long drive, for those who don't know, they're about an hour and a half, about almost 87 miles southeast of Sanford. And familiar face is going to come back into Cavalier Stadium. Their head coach is Lonnie Cox. For those who remember, Lonnie spent a few years here as an assistant coach, spent the last 2 years as head coach of Union Pines, and is moving back home, in a sense, where he went to school and started his career at Fairmont. They're currently 0-2. They're members of the 2A East Conference number 7. They lost to Westover in week 1, this past week, 41-12, and then lost to White Oak 38-14 to open up the season. They were 1-5 this past spring. And what are some of the things you're going to look at or have seen in this Fairmont team?
Well, we know that they like to run the option offensively. That's kind of their go-to formation and go-to plays is, as you know, running the read option and triple option and that type of thing. Got some athletes that can really move as far as in the backfield and at the wide receiver position. Defensively, they're looking to come bring the house and blitz and put pressure on you as a team. But we can't go in there and take them lightly just because of what their record is, and our record is no better. So it's a game that they're feeling confident that they can come in and win.
Right.
So we just have to be the more confident ones and more dominant ones, and so that we can get our first win of the season as we head into conference play.
Exactly. So do you think what you've seen so far in the film is a lot of what Union Pines did the last year?
No, two different teams.
Really?
Just different players.
Yeah.
Just different players, and so he's done a good job adapting to the personnel and the players that he has, and running the type of scheme that fits his players. He still has those wrinkles that he had from Union Pines and everything, and I know. He likes to think outside the box, so we can't put anything past him. But just from what we've seen consistently, they were more of an option team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's interesting, I was doing a little research on any history we had against. I know we didn't have any history, but going back against any history they had against any of our conference teams, and the last conference team to play them was Union Pines, ironically, back in 2004. So obviously not a lot of history other than what they get to see on film.
Yeah.
So how about, I know there's some guys that were kind of banged up. We talked a little bit outside before the show about Reggie Butler with his concussion, and he's still going to be out this week.
Yeah. He's going to be out this week, and a few other guys who suffered, some bangs and some concussions on Thursday night. They'll be sitting out as well. So, we're going into the game fairly thin, but, next guy up, and we just got to roll with it.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. One of the things I want to ask, we talked about this last week, now that the kids are back in school and getting that regular routine down now. Are they pretty much getting used to that routine? And I know there's some obstacles at school they have to deal with, but pretty much things are going well.
Yeah.
Now that you're 3 weeks into school, I
Yeah,
believe?
for the most part, they understand the routine. They understand what time they need to be ready, understand what time they need to be on the field, and what time we want to start pre-practice, and what time we set to get going. And that kind of goes back to us practicing the sense of urgency, us having urgency, like even from the transition from the school day to practice to getting down to the field, because that's similar to us getting off to the bus, warming up, and then getting ready to play.
Right.
So we just try to make sure to stay on top of them with that, and everything is about reps, and you can't take anything for granted or what they know or what they may understand.
Sure.
So you have to practice and you have to rep even the smallest thing down to them transitioning from the school down to the practice field at a decent time, and getting their mind ready to practice.
Right. Yeah. Exactly right. Again, the Cavs will be at home this Friday back at Cavalier Stadium. We played very well 2 weeks ago against Green Hope there. So hopefully, being at home is going to be able to get that momentum. And we encourage everyone, come to the game, still online to get tickets, or through the school. Is that what we're doing?
It's online, or you can scan the QR code that is posted outside of the gate once you get there. So if you don't have it online prior to getting there, there will be an option for you to scan a code, and it'll pop up, and you just plug it in, and you can get it at the gate.
Yeah, we got to come out and see it. There's some changes in the stadium. Nice Southern League flags that were flying in the last home game, and the field looks great. So please come out and support these Cavaliers and Coach McClure and his staff. We're going to go take another time out here from our sponsors one more time. We'll be right back after these messages.
Coaches Show sponsors: Wilkinson Chevrolet, Dominos, Farm Bureau Tramway, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Fix It Plumbing, Jones Printing Company, Brick Capital Video.
Welcome back to the Coach Mike McClure Show. Coach, once again, thanks for taking the time. I know you're a busy man, and between teaching art and teaching football and everything else you got to deal with.
Yeah,
so
no problem.
Appreciate
No problem.
the time. Well, welcome back. We hope you enjoyed listening to the Coach Mike McClure Coaches Show. We remind you to join us each Tuesday at 7:30 on 105.5 FM WFJA, and every Friday night prior to our games at 7 o'clock. But they'll replay the Coaches Show at 6 o'clock, and then live pregame with Austin Thomas and myself at 6:30 on 95.1 FM and 1050 AM WWGP. Our Coaches Show is also posted on the WFJA website and Facebook page each Wednesday by noon, and we are glad you've taken the opportunities to join us this season for Cavalier football. We also remind you to check out the WFJA website. Go to sports, then high school football, and you'll see a choice of pages to include our results page with complete game articles posted by midnight after games, the conference standings, power rankings, schedules for all the teams in the San Hills 3A, 4A, and up-to-date season stats and all details on your Southern League Cavaliers. Good luck to the Cavaliers this week as they host Fairmont at Cavalier Stadium this Friday night with a 7 o'clock kickoff. We thank all of our sponsors for bringing you the show tonight: Wilkinson Chevrolet, Dominos, Sheriff Tracy Carter, Farm Bureau of Tramway, Fix-It Plumbing, Jones Printing Company, and Brick Capital Video. And we thank you for listening to WFJA and WWGP Sports. Good night, everyone. Go Cavs!
You've been listening to the Southern League Cavalier Coaches Show with head coach Mike McClure and show host Mike Fowler. On behalf of all Coaches Show sponsors, we thank you for listening to tonight's program. This has been a production of WFJA and WWGP Sports.